Welcome to Daddy's Gallery. Today I will show you, drama and mystery movie titled Gerald's Games. I want to let you know if this video contains spoilers ahead. I suggest you to watch the film in its entirety. Have a nice day and enjoy. The film begins by showing a husband and wife who are traveling on vacation. This woman's name is Jessie and her husband, Gerald. In the middle of the trip, they were shocked by a dog that turned out to be eating a carcass.
Oh shit.
But Gerald didn't care and he went on his way again. After hours of traveling, they arrived at a villa that was deliberately rented for a few days. This villa can be said to be very remote and very far from the city. Just arrived, Jessie, who saw there was meat, finally decided to give it to the dog, which turned was the dog he had met in the middle of the road earlier. Gerald's finally came out and said that the meat was from Japan and the price was even.
It's Kobe ribeye. It's actually from Kobe. It's $200 a portion.
Jessie, who heard this, was surprised and apologized. Right then and there they even went into the villa, to the bedroom, with the house door not closed at all. After everything was prepared, but suddenly, Gerald actually felt excruciating pain in the left side of his chest.
Gerald, that's not funny. Gerald?
This is a disaster for her own because her husband actually died of a heart attack suddenly. Moreover, Jessie can't do much with the situation of both handcuffed. All Jessie's suffering will start from here. Gerald, who fell on the edge of the bed, looks like a blood clot that started to come out of his husband's mouth. Jessie just screamed as loud as she could. Time after time passed quickly, because the day will be a night, which will make it difficult for Jessie's condition to be known by others. From the door of the room, a shadow began to appear, which turned out to be the dog from earlier they meet. But instead the dog licked her husband's blood clot and also tore Gerald's flesh in front of Jessie's eyes. In a situation like this, there wasn't much she could do, except try to scare the dog. Until one day, Gerald suddenly began to regain consciousness and got up from the floor, but it turned out not to be real, but just a hallucination in the room in Jessie's head. The situation became difficult for Jessie, in quiet solitude and psychologically depressed. Jessie started trying to reach for the cell phone that was next to her. But still the cell phone was not reachable at all. Then Jessie, who was feeling thirsty, started trying to reach for the glass of water that was on it. But just as the glass was held, it turned out that her mouth was unable to reach the glass. She put the glass back on the wooden plank above it. On the left side of the board is a card that Jessie managed to take. Immediately she patted the card slowly until it formed a straw. This time Jessie's idea paid off and she immediately enjoyed the glass of water. Jessie, who didn't want to waste the water, immediately left it to drink at another time. Meanwhile, to save her energy, she deliberately slept on this bed with her hands still in handcuffs. When she woke up, Jessie immediately screamed because the blood circulation in her wrist wasn't going well at all. Even her hands seemed to start to swell and turn blue in one night. On the other hand, the dog was still in the room and her husband's body had begun to be surrounded by flies. Jessie was tormented like this, and she started to drink a little water from the glass she kept. No help, no hope, and no certainty. Jessie immediately planned an idea that was not certain whether it would work or not. But clearly, there is no time for Jessie to continue spending her days like this. Her own body is getting weaker and weaker, which is where it is possible to reduce the level of focus of her mind with the condition of the hands that continue to swell. Jessie was desperate to throw the remaining water from the glass she had. Then she accidentally broke the glass into shards. Jessie stabbed a sharp shard of glass into a wooden plank, injuring her wrist. She immediately scratched her wrist into the shards so that keeps the blood from clogging and clotting. There the condition of her hand, which was already filled with blood, was immediately used by Jessie to escape her hands from the cuffs. The fresh blood that was pouring out was also deliberately used by Jessie as a lubricant to escape. This time only her left hand was still handcuffed, and she immediately pushed the bed to approach the table to reach the cell phone next to her using her toes. Unfortunately, after the cell phone was taken, it turned out that the cell phone had run out of battery. She shifted the bed again and tried to reach the handcuff key that was placed by Gerald. Finally the key fell out of Jesse's reach. She tried a big effort until finally the handcuffs were removed. The first thing Jessie did when she was released, was to drink the tap water and also rinse her hands, which were already covered in blood. The blood that kept pouring from her hand, began to be bandaged. But just when she saw the car keys, Jessie fell unconscious. And suddenly when she woke up, the day turned out to be night and she saw her husband's body, which was not intact as a result of the dog bite. She immediately took the car keys. When she was about to get out of the villa door by going through the hallway, she was startled by a mysterious figure who had been waiting for her. There Jessie gave her wedding ring to the man and left him. Jessie left that horrible place. But unfortunately Jessie, who was too weak, made it difficult for her to drive, which made her had to hit a tree and experience a pretty hard impact. But fortunately there were residents of a house nearby who realized the sound of the collision. As a result, the two residents went out to help Jessie, who was dying. Jessie was taken to the hospital and suffered a pretty serious trauma to her head. Only after a few months, she managed to recover normally and wrote the whole story into a book. There too, Jessie saw the news about the mysterious man, that in fact the mysterious man was a psychopath who often dismantling the tomb and taking the valuables in the tomb. And in Jessie's time of torment, he was there to see Jessie hurt without helping her. The man was arrested by the police for his murder. Until one day, Jessie appeared in court. She entered the room, and immediately met the figure. Finally,
Hey. You're so much smaller than I remember.
Finally Jessie leave the man. The man looked at Jessie sharply. Even though she had to be alone without a companion and also without any children, she was still happy for her life, which had begun to improve. And finally the film is end.
Do it like this, do it like, do it like, do it like this, 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 do it like, do it like, do it like, do it like, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it like this.
Look at this.